Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Benjamin, and for those of you who know me, I'm the Buffett investor. And so in today's video, I thought I just want to cover a bit about REITs. As to some of you might know that it actually stands for Real Estate Investment Trust. So today in this video I want to cover like what is REITs, what are some of the type of REITs that you as an investor you can go into, and also what are the things to look out for, right? So as we know, when it comes to REITs, right, real estate investment trust, basically it's like a fund that basically, for I think retail investors you can actually partake in. And if you would like to own part of a property, in your country, and going to REITs is one of the easiest way. Let's say if you don't have a lot of capital, huge capital, funds to buy an entire property on its own, you can actually use REITs to invest into properties. And so I'll just use the example, for REITs, there's actually many different types. So there's always like commercial, which is like office buildings. There's like retail, REITs that is talking about like shopping malls and things like that, as well as there's like industrial REITs, right, which is talking about like you have those like factories and all this industrial offices, as well as also there's also hospitality REITs as well, so talking about like hotels and things like that, right? And of course, these are just some of the REITs in general. So of course, usually what I would actually propose is to look into REITs. That is, if you actually look across all the different REITs, I would normally prefer to recommend those that are more resilient, recession-proof, because example, trying to balance and diversify your portfolio. You wouldn't want to, example, you also want to, especially if you're going to a recession in the coming years, or even right now we're feeling the impact. I would actually recommend you go into REITs that are more resilient. That means even if the market goes down, you would know that REITs will still be able to generate a kind of, I would say, rental revenue in terms of its tenant portfolio as well. So to give you an example, let's use the example like shopping mall. So in terms of retail REITs, even if the market were to go down a recession, we can see that people still have to do, they still go into their daily shopping, they still have to visit the shopping malls and things like that. So this actually shows that, hey, retail REITs is actually quite resilient. Whereas on the other hand, if you look at commercial REITs, that means in terms of like offices, you realize that, hey, when once the market goes down and when companies are, actually finishing up on their lease, they actually have the option to move out. So it's not as though, the developer or the building management can just hold on to the companies. No, the companies can always feel free to move wherever that charges them lower rental. And so that's the problem also with office commercial REITs, right? So just to share, these are some of the REITs that you can look at. Right, personally, I mean, even in we're talking about industrial. I know nowadays there's lots of people going to industrial properties, right? They are thinking about you actually go and buy over the industrial property and you actually rent out and that's how all those I would say properties, buy multiple properties with no cash down. That's also one of the ways that they are recommending. But just to take note, when you're buying into industrial properties, right, there's also a lot of risk with that, because basically, yes, you actually get rental income provided you get tenants consistently. At the same time, however, do take note that looking at the price index for industrial REITs over the years has been declining and going down, meaning to say that 3 or 4 years ago, if you bought the industrial property or even holding on to industrial REITs, the price tends to actually fluctuate downwards. So just to take note of that, okay? So I think that's also one of the points and the values I'm hoping to give to all of you also in this video, right? And then the next part that we talk about is in terms of how do we identify some good REITs out there in the market, right? So let's say we are going to retail REITs. I think then I would actually consider all of you to look at some of these fundamental indicators, right? And that's obvious. We'll look into example like what's the capitalization of the REITs, how long it has been when it has actually privatized and had into the market, when it was listed as well. It's very important because we want REITs that has been there for at least over 10 years or more, right? That's very careful. Don't look at those REITs that has just been IPO, like what I've always recommended, right? And also look in terms of what's the management of the portfolio manager for that particular REITs as well. Are they very prudent? Are they very good at ramping managing their portfolio well? Are they getting the asset enhancement? Are they be able to secure good tenants in the building? Always check what is the weighted average lease expiry to know how long more are all the tenants locked into that particular REITs as well. And also, I think we also need to look at the gearing ratio. That the gearing ratio actually represents what is actually in terms of the debt, the leverage that this particular REIT is taking on. Because once you imagine, I would strongly recommend to have a REIT that is up to only 35% and below in terms of their gearing ratio, because this is so important, right? Because basically you wouldn't want to you know, when it comes to the downtime or recession proof, you don't want a REITs that has actually problems in their cash flow. So these are just some of the things to take note of. I'll be sharing more, you know, when it comes to REITs and even in terms of dividends, stocks, investing in my coming video. So stay tuned. If you like this video, please do, you know, like and comment and share my video. Hit the subscribe button as well as the bell notification button to get more updates. I'll see you soon. Take care.